one coater. Ah! No one cares. Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have the new Holo Costal Cremes collection. The Costal Cremes collection features 8 brand new cream shades to the Holo lineup, and this release is not considered limited edition. Thank goodness for that, because I'm currently recording this Wednesday morning, so let's see if we can get this edited for Thursday. I'm gonna keep saying Costal Cremes, but like I acknowledge that Christine's probably calling this Costal Cremes, but America! Yeah! I am quite confident that I am not the only Holo Taco fan that saw the colors of these polishes and was just like, I have seen this before from you, Holo Taco, what the hell? So I will of course also have some comparisons from Holo Taco's other cream finish polishes. So the polishes featured in today's video were sent to me in gifted PR from Holo Taco. This video is not sponsored, but thank you very much to the Holo Taco team for sending these over to me. As always, in the description box, I'll have links where you can pick these polishes up. Holo Taco is largely just sold online, but they're also available in store in Ulta, as well as on the Ulta website. So I'll have links to all of that in the description box. I'll have Holo Taco's social media pages, my social media pages, and of course timestamps as well. All right, let's just get right into this video. The first polish up is called Boardwalk Behaviour, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a medium bright pink. Boardwalk Behaviour had a really good but definitely thicker formula. While I didn't find this one to be so thick that I needed to add nail polish thinner to it, it was definitely just shy of needing nail polish thinner. Thanks to that added thickness, however, this one was just shy of being a 1 coater on me, so I do think if you're going for a slightly thicker coat, you could definitely get this one opaque in 1 if you really wanted. I would agree with Holo Taco's color description for this shade. This is a very bright medium pink. I will say, however, this particular tone of pink, I kind of think of this as like an OPI pink. I feel like OPI does a color that looks exactly like this in basically every collection that they do. As is typical for a Holo Taco cream finish polish, I did find this one self-leveled absolutely beautifully and it applied really nicely as well. Put this in for Boardwalk Behaviour, and my swatch chose Boardwalk Behaviour in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. This is a fairly pigmented shade. I did notice upon removal for this one, the pigments really wanted to stick to my skin and on my nails around the cuticle area, so I think this one might be a potential stainer. I would highly recommend doubling up on your base coat if you're at all concerned about staining with this shade. However, I did not personally experience staining, but like, I don't know, I feel like this one has the potential to be a stainer. And super easy removal because it is a cream. The next polish up is called Creamsicle Coast, and Holo Taco describes this one as a peachy yellow. Creamsicle Coast had a pretty good but slightly finicky formula. I found this one was definitely on the thicker side. In truth, I feel like I probably should have added just like a little squirt of nail polish thinner to this one. I found this one didn't apply great with like fairly thinner coats, so I had to redo my coats and try again, and then I messed up that one as well. So you'll see on the first coat there that there's a little bit of a bald spot towards the one side of my nail because I ended up not having enough polish on my brush. Because this one applies like slightly more finicky, I'm going to call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on your personal preference. I ended up swatching Creamsicle Coast in 3 coats. I had just like I said, I had like a little bit of unevenness. Truthfully, I'm not terribly surprised that I'm going to call this one a 2 to 3 coater. I feel like this is just light enough and probably has like a lot of white in it that like I wouldn't call it chalky per se, but it's just slightly more finicky. Like still, it's not bad. Let me just phrase, it's not bad. I just foresee this one being a 2 to 3 coater depending on your application style. Even though this polish has creamsicle in the name, I don't really think of this as the color of creamsicle. I feel like creamsicle is more orange than this color is. Oh, however, I will note, I did notice in natural lighting, I saw the oranginess of this one quite a bit more, but I would say the overall color of this, I would put in the yellow family. It does have like a little bit of like orangey peachiness to it, but not enough that I would call it creamsicle, but I would definitely put this in the peachy, yeah, peachy yellowish kind of family. My Swatches Creamsicle Coast in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. Super easy removal because it is a cream. I didn't have any difficulty upon removal with this one, so I don't foresee this one being a stainer, but as always, if you care about that, double up on your base coat, people. The next polish up is called Dockside Drama, and Holo Taco describes this one as a bright fuchsia purple. Dockside Drama also had a really fantastic but slightly thicker formula. This basically had the kind of consistency that I usually expect from a Holo Taco cream. A little bit on the thicker side, but still very easy to apply, self-levels perfectly as well. I do agree with Holo Taco describing this one as a bright fuchsia purple. This is very much in the purple family, but I feel like it has like the teeniest droplet of like a fuchsia or like a pinky tone to it. Not enough that I would call it a pinky purple, but just enough that I don't feel like it's just purple. I feel like it's like slightly warm. This was the only polish in the collection that I noticed drying down a little bit dull, so you will of course want some glossy top coat to make it glossy again, but don't walk around without wearing top coat. I did find that Dockside Drama self-leveled absolutely perfectly. This was just a really good purple cream. Also, for whatever reason, the name of this polish is making me think of The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's a book and a TV show, FYI. My swatches show Dockside Drama in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. Nothing in here is going to dry on texture, super easy removal because it is a cream. The next polish up is called Midnight Marina, and Holo Taco described this one as a bleached indigo blue. Midnight Marina also had a fantastic formula. I love this color for summer. I will say I do disagree just a little bit with Holo Taco's color description for this one. I don't feel that it has enough of a purple tone to it to really call it an indigo. To my eye, I would more so describe this one as a slightly dusty medium blue. Not light enough that I would call it a light blue. It's in the lighter end of a medium blue and has like a little bit of like a dusty quality to it. Not enough that I don't feel like it fits well for summer, because I feel like I'm looking at that color, I'm like, yes, that is a summer blue. It's a little bit too bright for like a springtime blue, despite it being a little bit dusty. Midnight Marina was a solid 1 coater on me, but my swatches of course do show it in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. I'm gonna give another staining warning for this one. When I was removing it, it once again really wanted to stick to my skin and nail. This was the second shade in the collection that I opted to put a little bit of cuticle remover on my finger just to try to get all of like the blue tone pigments off of my finger. It worked out fine. My nails weren't blue, but just be aware, it's a potential stainer. Super easy removal though, because it is a cream. The next polish up is called Pier Pressure, and Holo Taco describes this one as a bright ocean teal. Pier Pressure also had a fantastic but slightly thicker formula. This is one of the polishes in the collection that my bottle leaked a little bit in transit, so some of that extra thickness might be because it leaked in transit. Pier Pressure is one of those really fun teals that, because it has a very strong blue undertone to it, it tends to photograph and videograph. It tends to appear in photos and videos as a more blue tone than it actually is. As I was recording it, my viewfinder made this one look like super blue and no teal. I do agree with Holo Taco's color description. This is a teal, but it has a very, very, very strong blue lean to it. So, you know, this was another polish that was a 1 coater on me, but my swatches again show it in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. I love colors like this, but God, do I hate swatching them out, because like it's so hard to get the exact color to show up how my eyes were seeing it. This is another one of the polishes in the collection that I will give a staining warning. This one really, really, really wanted to stick to my natural nails and my skin. So again, I ended up using cuticle remover to try to get the last of the blue off, and thankfully it did indeed work. But again, super duper easy removal because it's a cream. The next polish up is called Water Taffy, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a vibrant aqua mint. I feel like Seafoam was right there and we completely dodged it. Water Taffy also had a fantastic but definitely thicker formula.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
This was another one that I felt was like just shy of me wanting to add thinner to it, but I was able to apply it really nicely and evenly, and it self-leveled perfectly. I did find that this one was just shy of being a 1 coater. I think if you go in for a little bit thicker of coats, or just, I mean, do people even care about, I really feel like 1 coaters were like such a big thing like 10, 15 years ago, and I don't feel like anyone cares about 1 coaters anymore. So I feel like, okay, it's a 1 coater. Ah! No one cares. Saltwater Taffy, I feel like the name of this polish fits this color perfectly. Like, I feel like I have definitely consumed saltwater taffy that was indeed this color. So I do agree with Holo Taco's color description. This is a very cool toned mint shade, but it's also very, very vibrant. I really enjoy these kind of more summery mints that are a little bit more blue leaning and like super, super bright and vibrant. Like, I definitely could buy this one being like a neon pastel. They don't call it that, but I feel like I could buy someone calling this a neon pastel. My swatches show Saltwater Taffy in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. Super easy removal. It's a cream. The next polish up is called Serving Sherbert, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a light salmon pink. Serving Sherbert also had a really great but definitely thicker formula. I don't see it in my notes, but I could have sworn that I added thinner to this one, but I didn't write it down. But like, I'm 99% sure that I did add thinner to this one. I strongly disagree with Holo Taco's color description for this shade. I don't think this one is a salmon. I feel like it lacks the kind of of oranginess that salmon in my mind usually has. This is on the lighter end of a medium pink. I could see someone calling this a darker light pink. It's something in that area. It's like, it's not light pink, but it's not like a regular medium pink. It's something right in the middle there. And I would say the undertone's either like towards neutral or maybe slightly warm in tone, but again, I wouldn't call this salmon. I did find that this one still self-leveled really nicely and it applied very smoothly as well. I feel like for a summer collection, this is probably the most like visually disappointing color in the collection. I will say though, I have indeed seen Sherbert in this color, so like there's that at least. This is gonna be a super easy removal because it is a cream. I say this with all the kindness in my heart. I feel like this is the boring color for the collection for people who are scared of like fun, bright colors. If you see all of these fun colors here, and you're like, let me get this one, I feel like you're boring. And I say this with all the kindness in my heart because it's okay to be boring. It's not a bad thing, but like fun, not fun. Fun, not fun. It's okay to be boring, truly. No shade at all, it's fine. Besides, I'm sure the boring people are gonna judge me for wearing this shirt. So that's fine. We are all individuals with our own individual personalities and likes and interests. And the final polish in the collection is called Summer Scandal, and Holo Taco is describing this one as a bright coral. Summer Scandal also had a fantastic but slightly thicker formula. It self-leveled really beautifully and applied very nicely as well. I will note this was the one polish in the collection that I did notice that the color it is when you apply it is a little bit lighter in color than when it dries down. This is the only polish in the collection that I was able to catch it in person. This one does dry down a little bit darker than it initially applies. Fun fact actually, I actually noticed this one drying down a little bit darker because as you just saw in the live swatch, I missed a side of my nail. So I went back to kind of like patch in that little spot there and was hoping and praying that it would self-level and you wouldn't notice that I did that. And that's when I noticed that there were two very different colors on my nails. So I see this one being called a coral, but I feel like this tone could indeed be called a salmon. I feel like it could be like a corally salmon color for sure. It has like a little bit of oranginess to the overall pinkiness. I could buy it as a coral. I feel like coral comes in a variety of colors, but I also feel like this could have been the salmon color. And also another thing that I did notice when I was watching this one, when you add top coat to this shade, because you know, the top coat re-wets the polish, it is going to look a little bit lighter once you top coat it, but once the top coat dries down, it gets back to the color that it initially dried down to. As someone who is fairly picky on my corals and my salmons, I feel like this would be a fantastic pedicure color. Nothing in here is gonna dry down textured. It's a cream, so it's gonna remove super easy because it's a cream. And I didn't personally experience any staining. And I feel like the most important part of this video is not in fact the swatches, it's going to be the comparisons. So let's just get right into it because I'm curious too. Alrighty, first up for comparisons, we have Boardwalk Behaviour. To compare to this one, I pulled out The Floor is Guava. I thought that would be the most similar color-wise. I feel like The Floor is Guava has significantly more oranginess to it overall. This is more, you know, just medium pink versus like a orangey pink. Also, side note, am I missing a Holo Taco cream? I couldn't figure out what Holo Taco cream was in this kind of darker pink tone. All of their pink creams were either very purpley or very pale, and nothing that was like this color. Let me know if I'm forgetting something because like I was drawing a blank. Next up to compare to Serving Sherbert, I pulled out Nip in the Bud, Pinky Swear, and What Do You Pink over here. Once again, I don't think any of these colors are terribly similar to this one. I wasn't really seeing any pink tone shades from Holo Taco that were this same kind of like colorway. But again, if ever there was a tone that I thought Holo Taco would have a lot of, it was gonna be pink creams. And I really was not seeing any in my pink drawer for Holo Taco. Next up to compare to Summer Scandal, I pulled out One Melon Followers, Oh My Gourd, and Holo Taco's Rest in Peach. Truthfully, I thought Summer Scandal was going to be significantly more closer to One Melon Followers. It's not exactly the same. It's more saturated in color. I feel like Summer Scandal is One Melon Followers, but with like significantly more like saturation bumped up on it. I'm kind of curious to see if people think that these two colors here are too similar to justify owning them both. Like, I feel like this was one of the ones that I was thinking of that was going to be super similar, and they're not like that similar in my opinion. Saturation Saturation wise, however, I do think Oh My Gourd is similar in the sense of how deep and saturated it is color wise, but Oh My Gourd is very much like a gourdy, pumpkin-y kind of orange color, like very Halloween in mind, and this is not that. And next up to compare to Creamsicle Coast, I pulled out Butterscotch Hop, Banana Hacks, and then Banana Medicine. I also purposely put this one directly next to Rest in Peach because I thought it might be similar color wise. I feel like you can see that the colors are different between all of these shades, but Creamsicle Coast is kind of similar to Butterscotch Hop. I would say Butterscotch Hop has significantly more kind of golden marigoldy kind of coloring to it, and Creamsicle Coast is lighter and peachier. And to compare to Saltwater Taffy, I pulled out Seafoam Home, Crime and Punishment, Matcha Maker, Here for the Payday, and So Toxic. And I'm just gonna say this now, I forgot how much I don't like So Toxic until this very moment. Oh my god, so streaky. Okay, so color-wise, I would say that Saltwater Taffy is fairly similar color-wise to Seafoam Home, but not exactly the same. Like, if anything, Seafoam Home and Crime and Punishment, I would say, are more similar color-wise than Seafoam Home and Saltwater Taffy. But Saltwater Taffy is it's like a smidge more saturated than Seafoam Home. Not too similar to justify them both, but this one is, I could see this one being pretty close for most people though. To compare to Peer Pressure, I pulled out David's Teal and Bring Me the Teal. I wouldn't say any of these three colors are too similar to justify owning them both. In truth, I was kind of hoping that Peer Pressure would be a lot more similar to David's Teal since David's Teal has been discontinued. Color-wise, I would say the level of saturation between these two shades is pretty similar, but Peer Pressure is just like a little bit more bluer in tone in person. Both teal, but David's Teal I would say leans more strongly towards green than Peer Pressure does. On camera, I feel like Peer Pressure is looking very blue and David's Teal is looking a bit more like a true teal, which I would agree with, it is a true teal. But I feel like on camera it's pulling just slightly bluer than it is in person. Bring Me the Teal is dark. Like, you're not gonna tell me that that's the same as that. And to compare to Midnight Marina, I pulled out Board Meeting and Too Good to Be Blue. I will admit, I had initially said in this video that I didn't think Midnight Marina had enough purple in it to count as indigo. Imagine my surprise when I pulled it out next to a blue. I was like, oh wow, it actually looks purple.
I don't apologize because I never make, mistakes.
So I now see what Holo was going with by saying this one is an indigo. Because yeah, if you put it next to like an actual blue, it is super, super purple in appearance. But again, none of these are terribly similar. And finally, to compare to Dockside Drama, I pulled out Work Bestie, High Tea Hibiscus, and Feeling Fiendish. Are all of these discontinued over here? I'm not 100% sure, but I could have sworn, I know Feeling Fiendish is discontinued, but I feel like Work Bestie also got discontinued. Whatever the case may be, I pulled these out because I thought these are more of like the pinky fuchsia-y leaning purple tones from Holo Taco. Dockside Drama is significantly brighter in color than these other shades here. If anything, I would say Work Bestie and Feeling Fiendish are super, super similar. I could see someone saying that it's not justifiable to own both of those, but for Dockside Drama, I don't think any of these colors are too similar. I did also want to compare Midnight Marina to Sally Hansen's Pacific Blue. This is the original color, so I just want to do a quick side-by-side to show you that they're not exactly the same. In truth, I actually wish the Holo Taco shade was the same color as the Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, because this is such a gorgeous color, and I feel like there aren't enough true dupes for it. I also wanted to compare Creamsicle Coast to ILMP's Cream Pop. I feel like ILMP's Cream Pop is just like a little bit brighter. And then here is Saltwater Taffy compared to ILMP's Minted. Not the same. ILMP's is lighter in color and not as blue toned. And then also to compare to Creamsicle Coast, I pulled out ILMP's Honeybee. So different colors again. Island Pea is significantly more yellow. Alongside this collection, Holo Taco is also giving this fun gift with purchase tote bag. It is a canvas tote bag that has Simply Nailogical's little, I guess not like a slogan, but like I feel like when Christine used to do YouTube videos, she very frequently would say, have some fun before you die. So that's on one side of the tote bag. And on the other side of the tote bag, we have the Holo Taco logo. There is a little button clasp here. Is this magnetic? There is a magnetic clasp inside of the bag that you can barely see, but it's there. So there is a pocket on the inside here. To give you a size reference, here is my iPhone 17. This is my iPhone 17 Pro. Of the pocket is the exact size of my phone, but a little bit taller. And then there's also a second smaller pocket on the side here that my iPhone does not fit in. But I would imagine if you have a smaller phone, you could fit your phone in that pocket. And here is a size reference to how it fits on my body. I'm 5'7". The tote bag is only going to be available for the first weekend that the collection goes live, and you do have to purchase the entire collection to get the tote bag. Okie dokie, so final thoughts time. Overall, color-wise, I feel like I love the color story of this collection. I think it looks really beautiful. I found all the polishes also to be really, really beautiful. I think this is a very solid collection. However, while there are some color differences between these colors and Holo Taco's past shades, I definitely see and acknowledge people pointing out that some of these shades are very similar to Holo Taco colors that were previously discontinued. Are they exactly the same? No, they're not. Which I will say, as a consumer of nail polish, I feel like that's just going to happen when you have a nail polish brand. You are going to release things that are similar to other colors. I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing, because at the end of the day, every nail polish isn't going to be for you, the customer. I feel like this might be an unpopular opinion. I don't really think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, on one hand, I want to say, if the polish was such a low seller that it had to be discontinued, why release something that looks so similar to it? But on the other side, maybe this slight change of like tone or colorant is enough to get people who didn't like the past shade to buy the new shade. I don't have a nail polish brand, so I don't know how people decide to release similar things. But I also feel like, as someone who has as much nail polish as I do, I also kind of like say, you know, not everything has to be for me or for you. We can choose not to buy things if it's too similar to something we already have.
You know, that's just my opinion. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody got something to say.
Which, I don't know, I feel like for some brands that there are just a lot of people who seem to think that like they have to buy every single release. And when there's something new that comes out that's similar to something that was previously out, they get mad that they have to buy it. And like, y'all don't have to buy shit.
That's right, I said it.
I don't know, that was a little bit of a rant. But anyway, back to the overall color story. I liked it. Formulas, I loved them. Everything was really good about this collection. So I will say, I do kind of wish that there was a topper release with this collection. I admit, I feel that way whenever any brand releases like a creme finish collection. I always want there to be at least one topper, because I feel like the toppers make cream collections more fun, but that's just my own personal preference, because I also would want it to be a glitter topper, and that's definitely a me thing and not an everybody else thing. If you twisted my arm and asked me which polish was like my absolute favorite color-wise from the collection, I think I'd probably go with Pier Pressure. I just really like teals. I like blue tone teals. I like blue. And yeah, this checked the box for both of those things. But I would love to know what everyone else thought of this collection. Do you feel like these colors are too similar to other Holo Taco shades? Let me know. I'm kind of curious. I feel like just the chatter that I've seen for this collection, there's a lot of people who are not happy with it. So if you aren't happy with it, let me know why. If you are happy with it, let me know why. As far as pricing and sale information goes, the Costal Cremes collection is available right now on the Holo Taco website. Holo Taco prices their cream finish polishes at $13 each. If you pick up the full bundle set of all 8 polishes, it is going to be discounted to $94, which is a $10 discount. And again, you also will get that handy dandy tote bag if you purchase the whole collection this weekend. This release is not considered limited edition, so it will be around for quite a while. And again, let me know all of your thoughts and feelings about this collection. How do you feel about brands duping themselves, which I'm not saying Holo Taco did. And I don't know, I feel like that's okay too. It just means it's one less thing for us, the consumer, to buy if we have something similar already. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans, fans, and names, of course, all on the screen right now. Channel members in Shenanigan tier or higher, don't forget we do have a members exclusive live stream happening this Friday. I posted a link to the live stream over in my community tab, and it's also listed in my Discord, which, by the way, I have a Discord server. The Discord server isn't only for channel members. I have a generalized public area, then there's a special area just for channel members. So if you enjoy chit-chatting in the Discord, you want to yap over there, come on, hang out. There's a link in the description box if you want to come hang out. If you'd like to sign up for my channel memberships, there's a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. But as always, that is completely optional. Just like the video, comment on the video, hype the video, subscribe, comment, all the things. Do them, please. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Here's the full shirt in case anybody was wondering. I couldn't get the whole shirt and my hair into frame and not like have the whole room here. So yeah.
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Bron. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.